Opaopaopa, bem-vindo ao Brothers in Games, eu sou o Eduardo de novo. E estamos em um jogo muito peculiar aqui, que se chama The Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable é a definição de droga, né? Pra quem não sabe, The Stanley Parable é a história com que você começa, é um cara que sempre digitava, só ficava digitando no teclado, esse era o trabalho dele. Aparecia aqui qual tecla que ele tinha que apertar e quanto tempo, aí você apertava e pronto, né? E um dia ele decidiu sair aqui e a hora que ele viu não tinha ninguém aqui, né? Ele sempre ficava com os amigos dele lá e não tinha ninguém aqui. Eu vou deixar mais o narrador falar aí, aquele vagabundo, mas vocês podem acompanhar que eu vou falando aí também, tá? Vamos começar então essa viagem.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Stanley. Beleza, fomos andando aqui. Provavelmente é pra cá, né? Eu tô vendo se as portas fecham, né? Vamos ver.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Você não manda em mim.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Não, eu não queria vir aqui, eu só tô te ignorando.
In this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness.
Nossa, tipo, eu parei numa sala e então resposta veio. Eu quero entrar na porta esquerda? Não, então eu não vou entrar. Não vou. Caraca, você não... Cala a boca, ô. Você tá falando que era pra eu ter sido... Olha que vagabundo. Não minta. Se você está mentindo, pare. Agora. Tá. Esse vagabundo não vai fazer eu ir pro mesmo lugar que ele quer. Eu vou ao contrário. Olha,
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else
Pera só um minuto. Olha a surpresa aqui, ó. Olha a surpresa.
Nothing but you. Really?
I
was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Sim, velho, você quer fazer, você é o narrador.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Não vou te dar uma chance, não vou te dar.
Now listen carefully, this is important.
Sem motivo.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Não, meu amigo.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Não entrei pela porta vermelha, eu entrei pela azul, tá vendo?
I still don't think we're
Nossa, velho, esse cara tá me dando raiva, mano.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Eu sou daltônico.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures.
Dá pra ir lá mesmo, será?
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Beleza.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
Sem
Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Vamos ver.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Ele tá querendo um feedback sobre a terceira opção. Bom, até agora tá bom, né? Apesar de ser sem textura, ainda é laranja, né? E como eu gosto da fruta, eu vou escolher aqui 4. Vamos no 4.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere.
Hey.
Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this.
Sentar e
This
esperar
whole
ele acabar.
third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a
Vamos dar
look.
uma olhada. De novo. A porta tem textura, né, seu vagabundo?
Now,
Ai,
would you
caramba.
say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Vamos no 4, sem noção, vamos lá.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of the new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the
Bom,
button to
agora
move
começou a
him
ficar
back to the
cinza,
right, and
é
if
laranja
it reaches the
podre.
fire,
Eu não
you
gostei.
fail. It's a very
Não gostei.
meaningful game.
Não vou jogar.
All about the
Não vou jogar.
desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life.
Não vou jogar.
I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours.
Tô de braço cruzado.
So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
O bebê morreu. Narrador.
You heartless bastard.
Foi você que mandou ele lá?
Do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
Pra te irritar.
If it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience.
Você matou o bebê, velho.
I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing.
Acabou?
Your input was extremely valuable.
Ah,
hey,
calma
since
lá.
the game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease
Jogo
the
de
pain.
outra pessoa.
Let's see.
Como assim?
What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Vamos ver. Nossa, que barulho de água. Que foi? Ah, uou!
Is
Isso é
this any better?
Minecraft,
At
velho.
last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with.
E ele não
But is it
pula.
enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you.
Ai,
From now on, I will only
seu
create to
bosta.
fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this,
Minecraft
Stanley.
mesmo, velho.
I'm going to build a house.
Construa uma casa, vagabundo. Ih, será que ele tem como construir coisa em cima de mim?
No, here. And then...
Pula, vagabundo.
Let's see, what does it need?
Ele tá fazendo uma casa, olha que legal.
And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
Que
I
bosta.
made this, Stanley. Look
É,
at
ele
it.
ficou uma bosta.
Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Deixa eu fazer uma casa que eu vou
But you've
deitar em
only seen
você.
it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience.
Nossa,
Please,
mas ficou uma
step
bosta mesmo,
inside
cara. É de
and
terra.
make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It
Não.
could only be better if... Wait.
Não,
That's it.
não, não, não,
We
não.
must rebuild it out of diamond.
É, vamos construir.
Diamond
Oh.
everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
É, nossa, como assim? Nós estamos dentro do jogo minando no Minecraft? Como assim? Como assim? Como assim? Como assim? Como assim?
Oh my. It looks like it's going to get a bit dark.
Eu vou
You brought a
tentar
light?
pular, vou tentar pular, vai. Ai, caramba, vou tentar pular ali, ó. Que bosta. Vou tentar pular ali, ó. Olha, mas não pula, tem problema. Mas que vagabundo. Vou tentar pular lá, ó. Que bosta. Não tem nenhum outro lugar pra eu pular, né? Só pra baixo.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had.
Ah, é muito
I'm looking
muito
for
longe?
something
Então
more
deixa eu ir
narrow
longe
and
pra você,
linear.
vai.
Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This
Tô
will
indo
do
longe.
it all, 1 out of
Ih,
5.
ficou preto.
Even the diamonds
Agora eu não
couldn't save
consigo
this one.
voltar.
Okay, new game.
Ai, eu comecei a ouvir zumbi. Mudou de jogo? Que aí? Não.
Yes.
Não,
I don't even know what
no
this
portal,
game is, but
velho.
I love
Como assim?
it.
Portal.
You
Portal.
trapped in a glass
Portal,
box
meu.
with no way out.
Caraca,
listening to
velho.
me
Olha lá.
talk. Oh,
A
it's
build.
inspired. I couldn't have done it any better
Caraca, mano.
myself. Why is
Nossa,
this game
pera.
even so...
Pera. Pera. Um segundo. Então deixa eu ver se eu entendi direito. Pelo amor de Deus. Mano, é muito sem noção, né,
Supposed to
velho?
be. I can't figure it out.
Incrível. Agora só falta eu...
Let's go find
Que isso, um
out what
rádio?
the hell this
Vamos
is.
ouvir no rádio, então. Não pode ser portal, véi. Ah lá, mano, é portal mesmo, cara. Cara. Aí eu vou o rádio. Deixa o rádio ali parado.
Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Oh, fuck you.
Genius.
Opa, genial. Genial, só que não.
No, actually, you know what?
Oh!
That's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these
Folgado,
games,
curva
and I highly
rápido.
doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is
Você
why,
não
rather
manda
than
em
continue to
mim.
waste my time, I'm just going.
Que lugar é esse? Eu tô com medo. Um beta. It's dark. Ai, caramba. Caí de novo, velho. O que tá acontecendo? O que está acontecendo? Parece que tá alguma coisa chegando. Estou com medo. Estou com medo. Opa, trancado. Desculpa. Não vou virar aqui, vou virar aqui. Posso vir aqui já. E já vem pra cá. E já pá. Ih, caramba. Não é pra esse lado. É pra aquele ali. Já pega aqui. Eita, pega. Já pega. Ai, tá aceso, tá aceso. Opa. Tá aceso ele. Opa, tá aceso. Tá. Por que tá aceso? 427. Vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá. Opa, essa textura tá boa, hein, narrador? Puta merda, hein? Tá, beleza. Vamos... Que bosta, hein? Vamos voltar. Deve ter outro lugar lá. Obrigado, narrador.
I wonder what he found.
Filha da
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now.
bosta.
I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it.
Acabou.
He'll understand
Nossa, que
soon what
raiva.
I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am.
Fuck yourself.
That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back.
I'll be
The end
back.
will be here soon.
O fim.
Very soon. I can
Boa.
wait.
Eu também tô esperando. Não. Não, 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 não. Não, 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 não. Ai, meu Deus do céu. Chegamos no marco zero. É isso mesmo, negada?
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
Ai, meu Deus, ele já tá mudando as falas, já tá dando merda, tá dando merda. Ai, meu Deus do céu. Ai, vamos entrar certo agora, vai.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
Vou
left.
te ajudar, filha da puta.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Ah,
Feeling
não
a
tem
wave
ninguém
of
aqui.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Não. Essa eu já te desrespeito, seu bosta. É isso aí.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Não
He
conseguia
considered the
fazer.
possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All
Yeah,
because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
É isso aí.
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
É verdade.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
É.
None of it made any
Acho que eu sou
logical
louco mesmo, né?
sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
Verdade, eu já vi,
No, Stanley
eu já
said
vi
to
isso
himself,
aqui, mano.
this is all too strange. This can't be
Meu
real.
Deus do céu.
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
Olha lá, mano, é o mesmo existe ali.
He yelled. This
Eu
is
estou
all a
sonhando.
dream.
Nossa, que bosta.
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Tô voando mesmo. Eita,
Then he imagined
Mano, eu tô...
himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
Eu tô
And
voando.
it too
Agora...
appeared. It was so much fun. And Stanley marveled that he
Esse
had
jogo
still
é
not
definição
woken up.
própria pra
How was
drogas,
he
velho.
remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Ah, não.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
Meu Deus.
How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back.
Eu tô dormindo,
The
para de
fresh
falar.
air of a world outside this one.
Beleza, deixa eu dormir.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Então, eu estou no mesmo lugar.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Jesus.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Quem mudou o personagem?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man.
Stanley morreu! Stanley era louco, velho! Eu tô ficando louco.
And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, And in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Que bom. Ah, não. Bom, então a gente vai ficando por aqui, né? Obrigado pela sua audiência, por ser essa pessoa linda, só que não sei se... Tá, não sou gay também. Obrigado mais uma vez pela sua audiência, espero que nos vejamos no próximo vídeo aqui. Obrigado mais uma vez e mais uma vez. Obrigado também por ficar são nesse gameplay, não ficar louco. Eu espero que você não tenha ficado louco assistindo o vídeo, né? Então falou e até a próxima. Abraço.